This perp back with another video, and I just got done watching VHS 99. I think this is like the fifth movie in the VHS franchise, but yeah, this is a Shudder original. Y'all already know how I feel about Shudder, man. If you don't got Shudder by now, you're just missing out. I don't know what you're doing. $5 ain't shit a month, bro. Come on, bro. Get with the program. But anyways, we're gonna kind of go through this story by story. I'm just gonna kind of probably give you my ranking overall on how I feel about each individual story and just give you my overall thoughts by the end of it. So with that being said, let me know how you guys feel about this movie and what is your favorite VHS movie so far. With the first story that we get, it's called Shredding. You know what I'm saying? You have this like punk rock type of band, and you get this very simple basic story of them wanting to go to this underground, like, I guess, club or something that got shut down like 3 years prior because of like a weird freak accident happened, and the last band that played there was never heard from again, but everybody else was able to escape. This one was I think the weakest one for me. I thought the gore and stuff was cool. Like, as soon as they got to the place, shit started popping off. You know, you had almost like these zombie-like creatures like ripping people apart, and just the practical effects in this movie are really dope and something to be appreciative of. But yeah, definitely still just like the weakest one thus far. You know what I'm saying? But moving on to the next story, called Suicide Bid, and this was an interesting story. I was kind of into this one, where you have this character that goes by the name of Lily, and she's trying to get ready to get initiated into the sorority. But the catch is, the sorority wants her to pretty much spend a night in this coffin, buried alive. And who would ever do that? I have no idea, but they tell her this creepy ass story before putting her ass in that coffin, and just the feeling of like being claustrophobic is crazy. And I like how they kind of have the little timer, like she's 20 minutes in, not even like 20 minutes in, as soon as she gets pretty much buried, she starts freaking out like 10 minutes in, and it's just like, I would be freaking out too, because it's like, you better not leave me here. But I really enjoyed this story for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the practical effects are on point in this episode as well. Not episode, but story. This next one, though, Ozzy's Dungeon, I think Lotus Flower has something to do with this one. I was looking at the credits really quickly, but I was really looking forward to seeing this story. It kind of has that Legend of the Hidden Temple, Double Dare type of vibe to it, where you have this game show host. He's kind of slimy, he's kind of a dickhead, you know what I'm saying? And you have this other girl that her name is Donna, and she is just completely determined to win this whole entire obstacle course. But she ends up having like a freak accident. That shit was just so crazy. And then it went from the game show to just almost this game of revenge, where the family gets revenge on the co-host, or the main host. But then it just ends very weird. Like, I don't know what to really how to explain it, but the ending was just very bizarre and odd to me. But still, I like the nostalgia and just the idea of them kind of being influenced by Legend of the Hidden Temple or Guts, or just those 90s kids Nickelodeon TV shows. So that was really cool. The next story was called Gawkers, and this was a very nostalgia, member berries like filled story. You know, you have these kids that are like skaters, but also outcasts. They're very perverted as well. They just want to just they're just bored, you know what I'm saying? They're typical kids in suburbs that are just bored, so they're trying to do whatever they can do to kind of kill time. But what's interesting is one of their neighbors kind of catches their eye. It's a very attractive woman, you know what I'm saying, on the surface, and they make focus on like the statues that are in front of her house. They're like, oh, that looks kind of interesting, but it plays into something that I didn't really expect at all. So one of the brothers, that doesn't really fit in with the crowd, the way he kind of gets initiated into this crew is like he pretty much has to set up the spyware or the spy camera at the house. And I think they could have spent a little bit more time with that part, because once they set it up, that's when things go completely left. And this is the story they kind of show you, well, at least tease you throughout before each individual, story that we get. And we get this story. What ends up happening, though, is once they're spying on the chick, they get to see her naked. They're like, yes, this is going to be awesome. She takes off her bones start to crack. The sound effects on this shit was crazy. All of a sudden, she turns into fucking Medusa, bro. And that was crazy. She's turning people to stone. I like that. That was cool. It was a fun little story. You know what I'm saying? I like that they reference Radio Shack. They reference, I think, Blockbuster as well. And just a lot of just different nostalgia stuff that came out in 1999. And even mentioning the whole Y2K thing, where a lot of people were suspecting that the world was going to end at that time. So a lot of references for that time. So that was really cool. The last story we get, I feel like, felt the shortest. It's where these guys randomly like want to record the seance, or they're about to, you have this like weird cult just doing this seance and trying to call for the spirit. Really odd. But what was really dope, and I don't know if I am right about this, but the chick that was in Deadstream, I think, is also in this, because I just recognize her strictly for her eyes and her smile and stuff. But what ends up happening to these guys is when this cult is like doing this seance, out of nowhere they get like kind of teleported. And I really like how they do the whole grainy thing, and just the messing up of the tape. It makes it look like a VHS is like messing up, and they get teleported pretty much in hell. And I really like the creativity, where it's like, obviously there's like some green screen going on, but it's like still practical as far as the set that they're on. But as far as it being the last story, I'm cool with it. Now let's get into how I would rank these stories. I would probably put Gawkers at number 1, because personally I just liked all the nostalgia that was kind of filled in with that story. Ozzy's the Ozzy story, that was really cool. The Hell one, that was probably like in the middle. I think the weakest one for me has to be probably the first one. You know what I'm saying? I like the suicide bid. That's probably high up there. So the second, like the two weakest ones, I would say, is the Hell one and the very first one, which is kind of weird. So 3 out of the 5 I really enjoyed. I think this is a really interesting series, and to see that 85 already got greenlit and that's coming out next year, I'm definitely going to be watching that and looking forward to checking out what they're going to do in 85 with the 80s and stuff like that. But let me know how you guys feel about this movie. What was your favorite story? Did it kind of fall short compared to 94? Did you enjoy that more? Because I do think that they have gotten better with these movies and the stories. Like, the budget is definitely up there. This one felt a little bit more humorous compared to previous installments. Like, they definitely try to interject a little bit more humor into this movie compared to past movies. I still think the first one is going to be hard to beat, in my opinion, the first VHS movie, because there hasn't been really one that just like really got me yet. This one was alright though. I'm not mad at it. I like the creativity and all the practical effects that go into this. It doesn't come off too like wacky. I definitely do think that some of these stories get kind of cut too short, or they will have to cut a little bit of corners here and there. I think it's an enjoyable watch. If you're looking for something to check out over the weekend, definitely go get you Shudder. Do that 7-day trial. Check out what they got. This is definitely something to watch for the spooky season. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one, though. Peace.